One staple of a civilized society is a set of standardized hygiene practices. In light of recent events, I became more aware of the practices not only for myself, but for others. There's been a lot of political struggle regarding what is and what isn't effective at killing a certain unnamed virus of unnamed origin. But one thing that everyone can universally agree upon is that if you stop and wash your hands, that will help stop the spread of all diseases. It would make sense, due to this fact, that dedicated cleaning areas would be a big consideration when designing one's house, and specifically one's bathroom. But you would be wrong for making this assumption. You would be a buffoon, a simpleton, an idiot, an absolute piece of garbage. Because little did you know, you've just entered the pain zone. We're talking about sinks today, boy. The place where you're washing your hands. And everybody knows you got to make your sink as dumb as possible. Any common sense? Out the window. I grabbed him in a stinking arm lock. I threw him second story window. He dead. Drop everything that you think you know about what should and shouldn't be when designing your bathroom, because we're going to talk about sinks. Welcome to Trash Talks with Hobo Joe. Here are my guests, The Fool and George. Hey, everybody.
Hello there.
So, in your experience, you've come across some really bad sinks, but you don't think too much of it. You know, unless you get a really, really dumb sink. Well, today I got a couple of pictures for you, but we're just going to take a good old gander at some of these sinks, and we're going to redesign what we would think a sink should look like. So, first up, the first picture we have here, it's a pretty average looking sink, wouldn't you agree?
Yep, pretty normal.
Now, it is in Trash Talks. So looking at this sink, what would be one thing that you would think would be a problem with this? Because to me, when I see this sink, I get angry because I know exactly what's wrong here.
The first sink in Trash Talk?
Yes.
I mean, it has a soap dispenser attached to it, and
No, soap dispensers are good. See, the problem I have with this sink is if you look at those paddle type knobs for the hot and cold, they turn inwards towards the center of the sink. And the angle of the sink, once you have that turned all the way, it's going to be sticking out towards your hand. Now, this sink doesn't have much room for your fists to go when you're washing your hands. And that little knob's just going to be sticking just ever so slightly into the bowl, the basin part of the sink. And to me, that is painfully obvious because I've dealt with this sink in particular a lot. I think most schools do this type. They don't usually have the soap dispenser there because most of the time if you do have that soap dispenser, it's empty. One thing that people could fix this sink by is just having a classic knob. Like, I understand the levers are nice, but knobs are better. Anyone else have any input on the first sink?
I'm not a big fan of chrome.
Okay, I mean, I can see where you...
Yeah, that just kind of shows up the grime a lot more than it probably should. Like, it's more noticeable, the grime is on things. But I suppose in the same breath, it's easier to tell if you've actually cleaned it.
Understood. I don't mind chrome. It's just I prefer a good porcelain sink, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Porcelain's good.
The next sink we're looking at. Oh boy. This is one of those look over function type sinks. If you look,
I feel like there's gonna be like a lot of kids getting water on the floor with that one. It's just like shaped all wrong.
Yeah.
Is that wood?
It most likely is some sort of wood with acrylic over it, or it's some sort of like synthetic wood looking thing.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause, like when it comes to anything wood in relation to water, that's a big no-no to me.
Most likely, it's got some waterproof acrylic over it. I'd hope. Uh,
I would hope so. Yeah. I mean,
but
it looks nice, like on the offset, but as far as utility is concerned, I mean,
now, one of my
fuck,
main problems is this this nozzle, right? Like the actual part where the water comes out. It is
yeah.
aimed directly at a push down style uh, sink stopper. So this sink is meant to be filled, and it's a shape that just so easily spills. So not only that, it's also aiming at the top of this domed structure in the middle, which is the stopper. That it full if you have the water pressure that I like, that's gonna go everywhere.
How do you turn it on? Like, where's the? Is it like
Uh,
an automatic, or is
the
it like push?
I'm presuming that the knob is the small structure off to the side of it. I'm assuming it's probably you turn it one way for water or hot water, one way for cold.
But what about the stopper? Oh wait, you push it in, I assume.
Yeah, you
Never mind.
push it in and pull it back out. Either that or it's
Oh,
got a
okay.
knob somewhere. But next sink.
Yeah, I don't know. Next sink. Oh wow.
So I've
Yeah,
actually seen sinks like this before. I
straight existence of this sink makes me angry.
the existence of a lot of sinks makes me angry. So someone decided that they were going to follow the instructions. Either A, the engineer knew nothing when they built this sink and had some contractor put it together somewhere, or
Uh-huh.
B, the contractor realized that the nozzle wasn't going to fit in the place it was supposed to go and moved it without ever considering the angle at which the water comes out.
Then just get a different type of nozzle.
That would be your guess, but the people who design sinks are literally subhuman. You would be hard pressed to find a sink manufacturer that doesn't consist of like window lickers.
Oh lord.
So
Uh,
10 out of 10, perfect sink right there.
no.
Next sink I think is I want to hope that this isn't real. I want to hope that this is some sort of CG. Someone mocked up a sink in CAD or some program.
I mean,
Probably
honestly,
Blender.
what's your main complaint about this
So I understand, like, I actually quite love the sink placement coming out of the wall, and then in the center of the basin is just a stream of water. That is
one? Yeah.
perfect hand washing, but the basin is so incredibly shallow that the only
It's gonna be
use it would
spills.
have,
Lot of spills.
yeah, a lot of spills. The only use you would have for a sink like this is hand washing, and it's going to encourage people not to wash their hands.
Why would it encourage them not to?
Because
It sucks.
you walk into the bathroom, you go to wash your hands, and the sink starts filling up with water. Then you get water all over your pants. Then your friends go like, ah ha ha, you peed your pants, and you go crying to the principal, and the principal's like, ah ha ha, you peed your pants. And you go home and you become an alcoholic at age 14 because you pissed your pants. Not really, but the sink did it to you.
Joe, I'm pretty sure the sink is designed to where there's like a basin around the outside of it that collects all the water and then pushes it back out the pipe.
No,
I'm
I understand that it drains. It's just it's so shallow. With the water pressure that most places have,
Let me ask you this: what is the purpose of the stopper? Like, what reason would anyone have to fill their sink with water?
to wash
brim.
things. I'm
But
not talking about filling the sink. I don't think
it's
this
a
one has a
bathroom
stopper. My problem is splashing. So how the water's going to act? The water in the middle is going to hit, and it's going to, like it is right now, it's spreading the rest of the water out, and you're going to have micro droplets spraying everywhere, and it's going to add up. Everything's going to be soaked. Because those little droplets, they go far. If you have water flowing against a flat surface, it gets everywhere. It's not so much with it filling up and then spilling over the edges, because it'll drain faster than that.
I mean, I suppose.
The next sink is actually my workplace sink.
Ah.
This is right after I cleaned it. I cleaned it with a bunch of bleach because my coworkers, for some reason, every time I come back after cleaning the sink, it is grimy, covered in something. The sink doesn't drain very well, so it obviously fills up with garbage if you dump stuff into it, and it just sits there, and then the garbage dries onto the porcelain. Absolutely god-awful sink. But my main qualm with this sink, not only the paddles, but is the fact that the drain lines up perfectly with the stream, and they're both aligned with the back wall of the sink. So if you try to wash your hands at any height above the lip of the sink, that entire back area of the sink is going to get filled with water, and you can actually see some near the base of the head of the sink where water is gotten up on the top, and you can't
Really...
rotate your fists at all. Your knuckles are going to hit the back wall, and I hate touching workplace sinks.
Yeah, that was probably my biggest complaint about this one. Is it's too close to the back wall of the porcelain. It's bad. It needs to be out a little further. And again with the chrome, like, the thing with chrome is even once you clean it, it like leaves like scuff marks on it or something.
When it dries, you see droplets.
Yeah, it's just, it irritates me because then it looks dirty even though you've cleaned it like a half a dozen times.
So I think you guys might recognize this sink. This next one.
Yeah, that's yours, I believe.
That is my sink. George, what's the problem here?
Which are we on, the one with the gold handles now?
Yeah,
or
brass
bronze?
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
brass one. It's a little too close to the back again.
You have all I paid for a sink. I'm going to use the whole sink, is my mentality. Why is it so close to the back wall? I cannot wash my hands without touching it.
Yeah. Because that's pretty unsanitary. Because if you have to touch the wall, then I mean,
yeah.
You don't wash the sink every day, perhaps.
I mean, my mom does, but
oh, okay. But even then, like within that day, of many people using it, they're all going to be touching that same piece of porcelain after washing their hands, because of how close it is.
Oh yeah.
That's not good, because like even when you look back at like the other sink, the one at your work, I mean, they don't have to touch the porcelain. The back porcelain of the wall's still gonna get wet, but it's still more sanitary than the one you have in your current bathroom.
Hate that sink. This is the downstairs sink. Is the next one. Now it's not a bad sink.
That is a nice sink.
It's got more room. It suffers from the same syndrome where the water comes out really close to the walls, but it's got more room than the other one. My main problem with it is its insistence on being off center. I'm a huge fan of symmetry, and it just makes me angry.
It looks more like it's supposed to be a sink for a kitchen rather than a bathroom.
Yeah. I can see that. Oh, almost.
Yeah. Because, I mean, because instead of it having a stopper, it has the thing you would put in, you have to put a plug in it.
It has a plug that it never used because it's in the drawer.
Yeah.
So next sink is my kitchen sink. I like this sink.
You like
yeah.
What did you say?
I like this sink because the stream of water is towards the center of the sink. You have lots of room to wash your hands, your pots, your pans, everything. It's a kitchen sink. Now, the head of the sink is detachable, so you can move it around, but before that it wasn't. So whenever you tried to use the second half of the sink, the only thing the second half of the sink was good for was drying dishes.
Well,
But
that's what it always is for.
but
It's for
in a
draining.
lot of places where you have your soap water, you have your rinse water, and then somebody dries them off. So that would be with a family of 6 like we have, that would actually make dishes go a lot faster because one person could wash and they wouldn't have to continually use the water to rinse stuff off. You could use the rinse water, plug both sides, have 2 basins full, and just use the rinse water and one person dries off, like you know how we do in Boy Scouts. But
Yeah.
now you can use it.
I mean, that,
But before, whenever
Yeah.
you couldn't detach it, you could only use half the sink because the stream. Another problem I have with double sinks like that is if you're trying to quickly transition from one side to the other, you have to stop the water or everything's getting wet.
Yeah.
Good sink, 5 out of 10. The next sink,
wait,
I think.
What do you mean 5 out of 10?
The next sink, I think, is universally hated.
Wait, hold on. Go back to your kitchen sink. What do you mean 5 out of 10 for that one? You gave one of the sinks that you hated like a 10 out of 10.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway.
So, yeah, this sink right here, I think, is universally hated.
I mean,
It looks.
sanitary. I mean, it's more like a hand washing station rather than a bathroom.
It looks like the cheapest sink ever made because it's too simple. It's just like somebody got like a popcorn bowl from their bathroom and just a really like the just.
The problem
It-
I
it's a-
have with it is the angle at which the water comes out.
Oh yeah, I guess that would.
aimed towards the middle.
No, it doesn't come out facing towards the bottom. It comes out in a straight stream towards the side of the bowl. And have you ever washed a spoon before, Dylan?
Splashback.
Wait, have you washed your hands in something like this before?
I've washed my hands in one of these sinks before. It was at a was it at the airport? Yes, because I was at the USO.
That's an airport sink?
I've seen them like that. They're absolutely god awful. It necessitates low pressure water, and I hate that. It's just
Okay.
this sink is what you would give to prison, and like as a tax write off, and you would like vindictively designed it to be awful so that the prisoners' suffering would be increased because they can't even enjoy washing their hands. This is the sink that if you got caught using it in public, you'd be ostracized from most Christian societies. They would much rather you go wash your hands in the mud puddle that Jimmy just played in. God awful sink.
God awful Jimmy.
Speaking of god awful sinks, next step on the list.
What's wrong with
The
this one?
devil.
Is that
Seems impractical. I mean, like, why would you need like two little tubs for one sink?
So, I
well,
understand.
that's the thing earlier with the
Well, you see, you may think to yourself, I have 2 sink basins that I can use. But where's the person going to be standing?
Okay, I see where you're coming from now. But I guess in this is probably someone that like uses the other sink only for their dry dishes.
I understand. One of my biggest issues is, like, again, with the running water, if you don't turn it off, you're going to get water everywhere. But just turn the water off. It's not that big of an issue.
Yeah.
My issue is more so the fact that they're not right next to each other because you can only one person can stand here.
Yeah, I will say that little piece in the corner that just requires extra cleaning. Like I feel like it would just
See,
the
if
dirt
I
would
was
run.
going if I was going to design a corner sink, I would have doubled the size of one of those basins to take up that corner spot.
Yeah.
But, it's not too big of an issue. The sink's not horrible, 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Next sink is your typical grandma sink.
See
I,
that's a nice sink. I mean,
it's not bad.
that spout looks like it's far enough from the wall that it's not a problem. Wall of the porcelain, that is.
Yep.
But,
Good sink. I'd say it's a good sink. But the next sink. This is the sink of my dreams.
okay, yeah. I can see this one.
I don't so much like how the nozzle looks, but I am a function over form type of guy. Plus, they have cherries sitting out. They probably should refrigerate those. Anyway,
Most professional sinks, they have
these
like,
sinks, you don't have to turn two separate knobs to get your mixture of hot water correct. You can increase and decrease the flow with one knob. You don't have to try to balance two different knobs. The sink stream is in the middle of the basin, and you have a big basin. It is a good sink. There is
see,
one problem, though.
what's the problem?
It's not in my house.
That's a problem.
Yeah, see, most of those sinks like that you'll find in professional kitchens. I know it at Camp
Because they
Llewellyn.
know.
Yeah, because they know. Like, this is an industrial sink, like industrial kitchen sink. This is designed specifically to handle a vast amount of dishes.
Now,
To go just dishes and pots and pans and everything in between.
so I'm going to bring up a subject that might upset you guys a little bit. Some people are kind of sensitive to this, so I was just prefacing it. If you want to leave, you can, but I'm going to begin talking about a pretty bad type of sink.
A bad type of sink?
British sinks.
British.
Yeah, British.
What's
It's
a British
Tuesday,
sink?
isn't it? Absolutely
What?
god awful. Do you want to know why I hate British sinks?
Why?
It's because they have a separate hot and cold spout. They don't have a separate
Most
hot and
sinks
cold.
do.
No, they don't have a separate hot and cold knob. They have a separate hot and cold spout.
Oh. 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 No.
It is awful. So I've posted. I won't leave it up for too long. I posted a British sink. It's just anything British just sucks. I'm sorry for the people that live on that godforsaken island.
You sure all British like
Now, modern British sinks don't follow by this rule, but do you want to know why this was? So, the hot and cold water were from two separate places. You had a large container of water in your ceiling, in your roof, and that supplied half your water, and the other water came from the city. And only one of those was safe drinking water. So you had to separate them for hygiene reasons. My question to them is why the heck, seriously, why the heck would you have the ability to give yourself unsanitary water? It's just everything they do there is backwards.
it's not unsanitary, it's unpotable.
They're a backwards island. They need the Japan treatment.
The Japan treatment.
Hiroshima.
Jesus. Let's see. When we at camp, they have the hand washing. So, it's sanitary. The purposes.
I get you. I still hate it.
Like Britain. Maybe this is a design they had. It just thought it worked. Like be some costs here and there, but particular design. But what? Huh.
So this sink I don't actually hate. I just hate when people try to be quirky.
I like this because it's like this. It flushed it all out. You had some clear overall.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a nice sink. I don't know. It's weird.
See, my one issue with that sink is the fact that you can't have high pressure water. I like when
Like
cleaning
what?
my hands, I like high pressure.
High pressure.
Yeah, like lots of water flow across my hands.
I mean, that's a lot of water flow. I mean, surely they
Well,
can. Yeah.
you get to the point where I like it and start spraying out all over the room because it's the diffuser can't handle it.
I'm sure there's a design you can do. I mean, like, look at pressure washers, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you turn the knob, you have the interval here, you know. So, in this case, you know, design it in a particular way to just, you know, like freaking Niagara instead of whatever. Instead of rapids, I don't know what to call this type of waterfall, but I don't know. It's a good sink. It's a good sink.
Do you want to see a god awful sink? Something cursed?
Um, sure.
Prepare yourself, for it is truly horrifying. The skirt sink. Apparently this isn't just a one-off thing. Multiple people thought this was a good idea.
Maybe they thought for just put that bad boy.
I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I no like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It looks odd. It looks dumb.
Well, that was about all the sinks I wanted us to review. Now, I was going to get your guys' input on what you would do for the perfect sink.
Huh.
Perfect.
Sink.
There's a couple really good designs I've seen. I'm gonna here. If I find the right one, I'll post it. They have a. Oh yeah. So that kind of like similar to the basin sink you were looking at. I know I have an aunt. We have. Really nice kitchen, actually. But yeah, I think a sink. Like, are we talking strictly bathroom or kitchen?
Either one. I mean, I would have the same one for both.
Wow. Why would you put that still back?
Dylan, I can't understand a word you're saying.
Yeah, you've been
Solid.
like cutting out for the past like minutes. 10 minutes.
Can you hear me? Oh?
Hello, Dylan.
You can hear me, right?
Kind of. I mean, you can't hear
Hello?
you actually, but
That's better. We can hear you.
Okay. That was odd. Um. What did not hear? What did you hear?
I asked you what your favorite or what your sink design would be.
Okay, any sink that allows me to move the nozzle around, kind of like the thing.
Yeah, I understand.
The one I posted.
So so you would be fully accepting for what I just posted in the chat to be your sink.
That's a shower. That's not a sink.
You can move it around.
That's a shower.
Yeah, you can wash your hands under it.
Sink. Well, yes, but you don't. You have a separate sink. If you're trying to tell me that the person that lives in that house uses that for both a shower and sink, I mean,
I mean,
I don't like it.
whoever lives in that house
I like
is
I like
obviously
having
a psychopath, but
yeah, I like having a countertop. But
well,
as far as bathroom sinks, just I'd rather than not be that large of a bowl. Uh, Still have the ability to move my like the nozzle around, but having a lot like a thinner bowl. Okay, finally it loaded. My internet's conking out on me. It looks like. But yeah, something like that, which is almost identical to the one you posted, except that one's centered, where mine is not. The one I just posted. I just realized. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good sink. Not too big of a fan of the fact that it's not in the center, but I'll accept your opinion here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't like that it was not centered either. I just, I mean, it's pretty much identical to the one you posted. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's almost entirely identical. Eh, But yeah, as far as the chrome, I think I would be okay with this.
That's more of a stainless look than a chrome.
Okay, maybe yeah, stainless. I like this more stainless steel look. It's probably easier to clean, less likely to guff around, and
Well, that is all I had for today's version. This was just a pilot episode of Trash Talks. A real easy one. Not too much of a adrenaline-inducing talk. Next time I have a trash talk, the subject will be how people who have shower curtains rather than dedicated shower doors are inferior and subhuman.
I have both. What does that make me?
So you're like a half-breed.
Well, see, the shower curtain is there only specifically to cover the rest of the shower.
What do you mean the rest of the shower?
So, like the shower curtain, it covers up the doors.
What? Huh? So you have
Yeah.
wait, the shower curtain and the door on the same shower? I thought you meant it was two different showers.
No.
Okay, sorry. I won't get mad this episode because we're going to have to save this for next one. We'll have to practically crucify you in front of everyone. So
I'll show you what I mean when we doing this again. I don't.
when I can get time. Right now, I have to go. It looks like my pit is done digging. I have to go shove children in it. I'll see you guys next time.